Hey everyone, and welcome to the Harrisburg Mall in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Today we'll be taking a final look at the mall before and after it closes. So, sit back, relax, and let's tell the full history of the Harrisburg Mall in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, one final time. On February 15, 1963, a natural limestone cave known variously as Big Pit Pak Stang or Crystal Paradise Cave was uncovered on the tract of the land that the mall was to be built on in later years, when a bulldozer was leaving an area on the site. The operator felt the ground shifting under him. He got the bulldozer away just in time to avoid falling into the 8-foot wide hole. Inside the hole was a marvel, a limestone cave filled with formations so beautiful, cave explorers dubbed it as the Crystal Paradise. On Saturday, April 20th, 1968, it was announced that a huge new multi-million-dollar shopping center featuring Wanamaker's and Gimbel's department stores and a third, not yet revealed nationally famous department store will be built just off of Paxton Street in the capital city of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. In addition to the 3 department stores, 80 more stores will be included in the enclosed, air-conditioned, and heated 2-story mall. The mall would feature fountains, courts with exotic gardens, flower and plant arrangements, shrubbery, and other aesthetically pleasing features specifically created for the ultra-modern shopping center. Altogether, the stores will contain 1 million square feet of retail floor space and provide parking accommodations for more than 6,000 cars. The shopping complex will be named the Harrisburg East Mall, and at the time, it would have been the largest shopping center in central Pennsylvania and one of the largest in the nation. The mall will be developed by the M.A. Kravitz Company and Fidelity Mutual Life Insurance Company. The mall will be constructed on a 70-acre tract bound on the north by Paxton Street, where it merges with Interstate 83, on the east by Friendship Road, on the south by Pennsylvania Route 441, and on the west by County Road. The triple-deck Penn-Harris interchange, which at the time was under construction, will facilitate traffic to and from the center in all directions. Harold G. Schaefer, vice president of the Kravitz Company, said in a statement that the Harrisburg location for the regional shopping center was selected by the Philadelphia-based developers after an analysis of the Harrisburg market. The Harrisburg East Mall will be the 12th center built by Kravitz Company. Other notable shopping centers were King of Prussia Plaza and the York Mall Shopping Center in York, Pennsylvania. Bernard R. Kant, president of Gimbels of Philadelphia, said that the Gimbels Harrisburg store will be a giant step in the company's goal to serve the entire Commonwealth. The Gimbels store at the mall will be its 29th. Robert D. Harrison, president of John Wanamaker of Philadelphia, said that it was a long hope for the company to expand into central Pennsylvania. The Harrisburg East Mall store will be the Wanamaker's 7th suburban store. On Monday, July 22, 1968 at 11 a.m., ground was broken for the Gimbels department store at the site of the Harrisburg East Mall. Bernard Kant of Gimbels took control of the bulldozer to celebrate the groundbreaking for the new store. On Thursday, October 9, 1969, Gimbels and John Wanamaker's department stores held their grand opening. A ribbon of flowers would be cut at 9:45 a.m. to officially mark the opening of Gimbels. Wanamaker's would open their doors at noon. Crowds packed Gimbels and John Wanamaker that day. Both department stores were 3 levels, each including 150 departments. At Gimbels, Eileen Fulton, star of the soap opera As the World Turns, signed autographs. The opening also launched a 2-month program of daily events at Gimbels, such as appearances by sports figures, fashion shows, charm school courses, and music classes. Over at Wanamaker's, Governor Raymond Schaefer spoke at the ceremony, which also included Harrisburg area high school bands. Afterward, thousands of balloons were released into the air, filled with gift certificates. In the months following the opening of Gimbels and Wanamaker's, workers put the final touches on the mall, and on Thursday, April 16, 1970, the rest of the 1 million square foot shopping center opened. Now with 2 anchors open prior to the mall's interior opening, the third anchor was announced to be a J.C. Penney in the center of the mall. The mall's interior held a number of aesthetically pleasing features such as fountains, exotic plants, streams of live fish, and even wooden footbridges. The mall would also feature the County Fair Food Court, as it was known at the time, on the second level. On Wednesday, December 28, 1977, it was announced that Allentown-based Hess's department store would open a store where Gimbels is located. The decision to close the Harrisburg Gimbels was based on 2 things: the success of the new Philadelphia Market Street East store, and the Harrisburg location was considered too far removed from the Philadelphia headquarters. Gimbels was expected to close on January 14, 1978, and in September 1978, Hess's would open. Hess's would cease operations at their Mary Sachs women's fashion store in downtown Harrisburg and move the merchandise to the new Harrisburg East Mall store. The new Hess's store would be their largest store next to the downtown Allentown location at the time. The store would also feature a Hess's patio restaurant. On November 14, 1987, Toys R Us held their grand opening at the mall. In 1993, the mall went through a $4 million renovation. In addition to new interior enhancements, including marble floor tiles from Portugal and Italy, ceilings featuring new skylights, brushed brass handrails, new escalators and exotic foliage, exterior signage and logo improvements have been made. At the time, the mall was managed by Compass Retail Incorporated, the shopping center management, leasing, and development subsidiary of Equitable Real Estate Investment Management Incorporated, based in Atlanta, Georgia. In 1994, Harrisburg Mall won 3rd place in the Reader's Choice Awards for the public opinion newspaper based in Franklin County, Pennsylvania. Chambersburg Mall came in first for that one. In August 1994, it was announced that Johnstown, Pennsylvania-based Crown American Corporation would sell off the Hess's department store chain. May Department Stores of St. Louis and Bon-Ton Stores of York, Pennsylvania would buy up the rest of the stores. May would buy 10 stores and Bon-Ton would purchase 20. As for the Harrisburg Mall location, it was purchased by May and would operate as a Hecht's department store, a retail division of May. It was announced at this time that all Hess's stores would close by November. May planned on to spend $100 million on the new locations and open them as Hecht's in 1995. Also in 1994, it was announced that Simon Property Group of Indianapolis, Indiana, would purchase 19 shopping centers for $1 billion. Harrisburg East Mall would be one of the malls purchased by Simon. The mall is owned by pension funds and other large property holders whose real estate activities are overseen by the insurance giant. In November 1995, the outparcel AMC East 5 theaters would close due to AMC presence at other theaters in the area. In June 1995, it was announced that Woodward and Lothrop would sell Wanamaker's, being sold to 4 buyers. 3 stores were being converted to other department stores, and 1 would close altogether. The store at the Harrisburg Mall was supposed to become a Strawbridge's along with other stores. In July 1995, a new bid was announced that May and JCPenney would acquire Wanamaker's and Woodward and Lothrop stores. Hecht's did not propose to operate the remaining store and the Wanamaker chain at the Harrisburg Mall. May would resell that one, the company statement said. On October 20th, 1995, Hecht's opened in the former Hess's at the Harrisburg Mall. In December 1995, after Wanamaker's had officially closed, the Wanamaker's Eagle was taken from the store and transported to the campus of Dover Area High School in Dover, Pennsylvania. The Eagle still remains there today. When Hecht's took over the chain, they decided to retire the birds and donate them. In March 1997, Lord & Taylor opened in the former Wanamaker's space. In July 2000, it was announced that the mall may be headed to auction after the owners of the mall filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in December of 1999. In January 2001, it was announced that JCPenney would close about 50 stores. Harrisburg East Mall would ultimately make the list and would close on April 28th that same year. In July 2001, it was announced that Priet would manage the Harrisburg East Mall for the next 3 years. In July 2003, a new buyer would emerge for the now troubled mall, which last changed hands in 2000 through bankruptcy proceedings. Long Island-based Fieldman Equities Incorporated said the company signed a sales contract in the property. The mall was previously owned by Prudential Insurance Company of America and managed by Priet. On July 30th, 2003, it was announced that Lord & Taylor would close along with 31 stores in 15 states. In October 2003, Prudential officially handed over the mall to Fieldman. At this time, it was announced that Bass Pro Shops signed a lease for the former Lord & Taylor, and Boscov signed a lease for the now former JCPenney. On Sunday, May 2nd, 2004 at 10 a.m., Boscov celebrated its grand opening at the Harrisburg East Mall. Throughout 2004, Bass Pro Shops made progress on the former Lord & Taylor space. The east front of this former store was demolished to be built outward. Bass Pro Shops had a target opening in November. In 2004, the mall went through a renovation which changed the mall's name to Harrisburg Mall, dropping the East in the Harrisburg East Mall name. On Thursday, November 18, 2004, Bass Pro Shops officially opened at the mall. Bass Pro would feature a variety of attractions at its store, and it would be the second largest store at the time of its opening. In February 2006, Fieldman announced that a 14-screen Great Escape Theaters would open at the mall as part of a continued redevelopment plans for the mall. The theater would open in November that same year. In the redevelopment, the mall was redeveloped to the current look, and a planned $13 million streetscape look to the front of the mall was to be constructed with Panera Bread, Barnes & Noble, Starbucks, Sports Grill by Sega, and other retailers. In September 2006, Hex was converted to Macy's due to Macy's parent company, Federated Department Stores, having acquired Hex parent company, May Department Stores, in 2005. In August 2008, Boscov's filed for bankruptcy. 10 stores were announced to close, including the Harrisburg Mall location. The Boscovs at the mall would close in October that same year. In November 2008, it was announced the mall's owners owed nearly $50 million in principal and interest on the property. The bank holding Harrisburg Mall's mortgages would seek possession of the property. On July 9, 2009, the mall was sold at share sale to three financial groups after the previous owner, Fieldman, defaulted on the $52.5 million mortgage. In June 2012, Harrisburg Mall was purchased from TD Bank by Maryland-based commercial real estate developers St. John Properties and Petrie Ross Ventures, who collectively own or have developed over 25 million square feet of commercial property in 6 states. The mall was purchased for $9.5 million. In mid-2012, the unfinished shell of what was supposed to be the Sega Sports Bar was demolished. At this point, the whole streetscape redesign became a total eyesore, and even with the shell and unfinished restaurant gone, there was still no tenants in the streetscape. Sega, Panera Bread, Starbucks, and Barnes & Noble all planned to open stores in the streetscape, then backed out. In 2013, Regal Entertainment Group acquired the Great Escape Theater chain. Regal would operate the theater at the mall as Regal Great Escape Harrisburg Mall Stadium 14. In March 2013, it was announced that Second and Charles Bookstore would go in the space formerly built for Barnes & Noble, finally bringing some life to the streetscape. Soon after, DXL Men's Sportswear would open in the space planned for Panera Bread, and Kondu Sushi would open in the space originally planned for Starbucks. On January 6, 2020, it was announced that Macy's would close at the Harrisburg Mall. The store was supposed to be closed by March, but we all know what happened in 2020. Macy's would close later that year when things were starting to reopen, and so did the mall. In my opinion, I think 2020 was the final nail in the coffin for the mall. Up until 2020, the mall was doing pretty decent. In the first year emerging, I began to notice more and more stores starting to leave with every visit to the mall. Inline tenants and even the Regal Great Escape theaters would shudder from the incidents of that year. The first sign of redevelopment began in late 2021 when the owner of the mall received a demolition permit to essentially gut the inside of the former Macy's, Boscov's, and Regal cinemas. On February 7, 2023, St. John Properties revealed a redevelopment plan for the Harrisburg Mall, in which the mall, with the exception of Bass Pro Shops, will be demolished and redeveloped to include retail along with business space that can be used for medical offices, schools, light manufacturing, and general offices. In December 2023, the remaining tenants in the mall, with the exception of the tenants in the Streetscape and Bass Pro Shops, have been given notices to vacate the property by 5 p.m. on January 31, 2024. The footage you are seeing currently was shot on the last day, or what we thought to be the last day of the mall, on January 31st, 2024. We all thought the doors would lock at 5 and everyone would be off the premises, but that wasn't the case. Some of the last remaining businesses stayed open till the mall's closing at 8. The next day, the mall opened for business like a normal day, which stunned many of us. The last day was believed to be January 31st, but the mall stayed open, and so did the remaining interior tenants. It wasn't until March of 2024 when the doors were locked for the last time and the Harrisburg Mall was officially closed for business. Demolition of the former Macy's, Regal Cinemas, and Boscos began and is now completed by the airing of this video. Demolition for the interior mall is halted until the proper safety requirements are met to demolish the mall concourse. As of the airing of this video, Bass Pro Shops and Second and Charles remain open. I would like to thank everyone for watching my video. Harrisburg Mall was one that I put off making a video of for years, but that was for a good reason, and that reason was so I could give you the full history and footage of the mall's final moments ever open. If you guys enjoyed my video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give the video a like. It really helps me out and motivates me to produce more videos just like this. I also encourage you to comment and share this video to reach a wider audience so more can view this mini documentary. As always, have a good evening if you caught the premiere, and I will see everyone in the next video. And stick around for these final shots of the mall's demolition.